ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon.
Well, welcome to the Roundtable, everybody. My name is Robert Bannon. You're listening to us on the Broadway Podcast Network or on Broadway World or over on social media. And we are excited. Listen, I don't know how people get ideas to be artists, but I love ideas because we're in the world where you get a tenor and a cello and you would put them together and make an album of amazing music. See, I love artists because you all are so creative and they're going to be everywhere. They play Carnegie Hall. They sell out places everywhere. Their music is out and you can listen to it. And then they decide to I'm looking up this press release and I said, Effie is coming on our show. Like Effie, like American Idol, like Postmodern Jukebox, like the famous haircut and belching her face off, Effie. That's why I love this damn messy show. CelloVoci, Effie, welcome to the show.
Hi. That was the best introduction ever.
I'm here. You all are real people, and you're here.
We're so happy to be here.
I have questions. I have a lot of questions for you all.
Please.
We have answers.
Okay, Brandon and James of the CelloVoci people. If we only know you from streaming your music, who is Brandon and who is James?
I'm Brandon with the fake blonde hair.
And I'm James with a fake Australian accent.
Do we all have to have fake accents? Because I would like a fake accent as well. No.
Okay.
So, Brandon and James, how do you know each other? And how did you decide, let's make music where someone sings and someone plays the cello?
Is biblically the correct answer?
I mean, I guess. I don't know if this is a family-friendly podcast.
We're married, so we know each other very well. We've been together for 10 years.
10 years romantically and 9 years musically.
Okay, so listen.
Started first.
Aww.
My husband and I, well, we're not married yet, but we get married in May. And thank you. I love gay married people so much. It makes my heart happy. So I love that man and I love living with him and I love when he cooks me dinner and I love when I get to sleep and cuddle next to him. But working together is a situation.
Oh,
it can be. It can be. We try to remind each other to be good to each other at all costs, even if we're having a stressful moment. Like we can be stressed, but it doesn't take away from the idea that we should always respect each other and put our love first. So we do that as often as possible. And if we have a moment where we're not quite up on that same page, we're very quick to resolve it and apologize and be like, you know what? I'm so sorry.
I was having a moment. Also, Brandon always makes the point that we genuinely like to hang out together. Like we really like spending time with one another. If we were not married, we'd be great friends. Just anyhow. So like spending all this time together, like literally all of it, is not a problem because we genuinely like being around each other.
We're like very, very connected. It's almost frightening. We're very similar people and a very similar taste about everything and sensibility. So I don't know how.
Well, I love that so much, and I joke and kid about Darius, but he's my best friend. So and he sings, but he doesn't sing professionally. He's not out on the road. But if he played the cello, I would be like, you're going to be the cheapest musician I could find because I'm married to you. So get that cello and get to playing.
I like this.
That's how I pictured it all happening for you guys. And then so Effie, when we look at you and we know you're LA, Mexico, singing American Idol, belting your teeth out literally for millions and millions of people on television and touring this country. How do you know these two crazy guys?
So we actually met in Puerto Vallarta about 4 years ago, and we just kind of fell in love with each other's personalities, and obviously the creativity was spontaneous between the three of us. And we started doing virtual concerts during the pandemic, and then it just kind of kept organically growing, and now they're stuck with me. I'm never leaving.
Now they're just a throuple touring the country together.
We need t-shirts that say that CelloVoci, just a throuple.
Yeah, just a throuple, with a cool name. Yeah,
I love it, and all the Puerto Vallarta is where all the cool gays go to party and vacation. So I love that you were all there. Effie, I don't know if you know this, but like you have like 100,000 listeners a month over on the Spotify, and people are listening to your voice and listening to your music. And I'm sure people ask you to sing and you get asked to sing and offered to sing on a whole bunch of records. Why these gentlemen, what about what they do makes you feel like it's part of in the realm of your art?
Honestly, the music came second. I think it was the friendship and the gelling of our personalities. And me, I'm such like a lone wolf kind of girl usually. So I like to observe what's happening around me before I kind of dive into anything in life. So when we kind of started hanging out for the first couple virtual concerts we did together, it was like, man, this friendship is going to be so great. I could tell it was so natural and easygoing and earnest and beautiful. And so as the music got more serious and the arrangements that we started doing got more serious, I got more serious into my investment into this throuple. So yeah, I mean, the music that we create is so beautiful now. Imagine, in the next couple of years, as this project keeps growing, it's just going to be nuts.
And so Brandon and James, your album is out right now, and I want people to be able to listen to the album and know that wherever you're streaming the album, you can absolutely get listen to it wherever you listen to music, and all of this music is out, and I have questions. So I'm a musician as well. Well, I sing, and so I guess that means I'm a musician, kind of.
Yeah.
Yes.
So my question to you is, I'm obsessed with arrangements, because if you're taking covers, there's songs on here, and everyone loves a mashup. Everyone wants to hear two songs that we don't necessarily think we're going to put together, and you have a bunch of bangers on this album that are so unique. So who makes the arrangements? Who is the one that puts them together?
Look, people give me credit for the arranging, but what I do is the nuts and bolts thing. I got to give these two the credit mostly for the big ideas. They are phenomenal artists who are able to play or sing something and then think, oh, this would be a really great thing with that. And then they'll like kind of table it, as it were. And then I'll be like, oh yeah, what about this? And then, we kind of mix it. It's usually collaborative. Effie came brought to the throuple a backlog of a bunch of mashups already that we've kind of taken on board, and kind of, we always work to give the cello a voice. So in the kind of working out of our trio, we kind of are always thinking about how to incorporate the cello in that way. But yeah, while I might be the guy that writes the dots on the paper for other people to perform with us, and so I'm the arranger in that sense, I would say that these two really are the big idea people. And often it's their brainchild that kind of gets us moving in a certain direction.
It might be our brainchild, but if we had to write the dots on the page, which he does very neatly, ours would look more like a children's coloring book. So.
Yeah.
Well,
Raccoon scroll.
Like doctor, yeah, I was gonna say doctor's handwriting, but raccoon is better.
Well, there's 11 tracks on the album. So you're talking about songs like Happy Days Are Here Again and Get Happy to Hallelujah to I Put a Spell on You and House of the Rising Sun. And the lead single was The Prayer and Imagine. But like, I'm talking about, like, you're talking about Chasing Cars and The Rose, or you're talking about Besame Mucho and Hotel California. Like, there's songs but they're done in a way that you have never heard them before. When people speak to you three about their music, your fans, the people that come to see you in concert from Carnegie Hall to literally around this world, what do you hope your music elicits out of the listener? Like, are we supposed to vacuum the house and listen to it? Are we supposed to have a date night on a Friday? Like, what do you want us to do while we listen to this album?
Ooh, I feel like a nice bath with a glass of wine. That's a nice one.
Or cooking a fabulous meal at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or driving. Lots of people listen to our music while they're driving.
Yeah.
If you're having a breakup.
Oh yeah, definitely. We got the music for breakups. I bring most of those to the table.
Well, so how are you both the singers of the group? No shade to the celloist of the extraordinaire, but the singers of the group, how do you approach singing? Like, you're talking about The Prayer, the single that came out. So how do you approach singing, a legendary vocal that is very iconic, if it's Andrea Bocelli and Celine Dion, or you're taking Judy Garland and Barbra Streisand, or you're taking they're iconically solidified in our brain. So how do you as a singer get in the booth and not feel like you're going to do a rendition that's compared to what we all know? How do you bring yourself to those songs?
I think the biggest thing that you already said is like, just have it in your mind to compare yourself and don't drive yourself crazy thinking, oh, there's no way I'm going to sound as good as Celine Dion. But try to think of it as breathing new air into a song and making it fresh and introducing, you know, just your true self into this piece of music. And it's been covered by pretty much everyone on planet Earth, but that's because it's a song that doesn't need to be changed, or, you know, it's just a perfect piece of music. So all you can do is bring your genuine self to this piece. So that's what I had to do because I was nervous.
I absolutely, I understand. So when we go see you when you're touring with this album and when you're out there together, what is a live show like? Like, is it just the cello and the voice? Are there other instruments that join you on stage? What kind of evening do we expect? What's the set list like?
Our shows are very piano heavy. James and Effie and I all play piano in performance. So that's kind of, you know, makes us, we always thought about calling our shows musical chairs because we're constantly switching places and doing things. We also use a fair amount of orchestral tracks that we custom make and record or have producers record for us. And there's a lot of comedy and variety in the things that we banter about too. Speaking to Effie, talking about our friendship, we never have, some people have called us the Three Stooges on stage because we just kind of are stupid and muck around and act like fools, which, you know, is a nice contrast to a lot of the serious, slow, sad songs that can present themselves in a CelloVoci show.
I think I'm obsessed with the whole idea of what you all do and what goes on stage and your style of music. Do you get pushback from the business of music? Because it's unique. What you're doing is not what is done on necessarily. You're taking classic songs, you're putting them in a semi-classical style. You're putting out music that necessarily is class. They're classics. They're for people who love music. So what do you say to people who maybe want you guys to be something that you're not, or say, do you get pushback about the tracks you picked? Do they want you to be anything that you're not? And this is who you all are. You're such original artists, all of you.
You know, this is our first record together, which we just released, and really our debut concert as CelloVoci is tomorrow night in Carnegie Hall. I don't know, wasn't supposed to timestamp it. Sorry about that, because I'm not sure when this is airing. But I guess the truth is that we don't know if we're going to get any pushback yet. So far as we've performed as Brandon James with special guest Effie Passero, we haven't met anything like that before. I hope we won't in the future, but it's kind of, we're still in the experimental stage and really crafting and finding what our sound is.
Mm-hmm.
How do you all feel about playing Carnegie Hall? Now, I know we timestamped it, and I know this is going to air next week, and it's a week after the show, and I'm sure the show was amazing, and there were standing ovations and reviews, and there was so many encores. You guys had to come out and sing happy birthday. I know that. But my question to you all is, how do you feel about playing Carnegie Hall with an album out, with audience there, with these class? Like, how do you even put that into your spirit and to your body to understand what's about to happen?
That's a good question.
I think the way that you said Carnegie Hall is about how I embodied it. That's pretty much how I'm feeling about it. I don't know. It's kind of a huge pinch me moment because it's our names on the marquee. It's our show, and we're not there as part of something else, and that feels just like an achievement in itself. And then we've sold it out, and that also feels like another level of achievement, and also a little bit overwhelming because I know how much great energy is going to be in the room and how much love and support. Like, we've got family coming from all over, and it's just going to be so much fun. In fact, I couldn't think of a more perfect way to craft an evening at Carnegie Hall than the way that it's panned out, with so much love and support from all over the place coming for it. It's just going to be, I know it's just going to be fun. I'm not even like nervous about making a mistake or anything. It's just, I just know that it's going to be fun, and I'm there to have fun. And I think that's kind of why we do this anyway, right?
Yeah.
Is to make music together, make the magic, and just let it do its thing. And I'm going to try to soak up every moment. I'm already sad that it's going to go by so fast.
Yeah. It's going to be quite the emotional evening.
Absolutely. And I want you all to know, like, we get the receipts, everybody, that they all bring besides this venture. And we know Effie's receipts because we talked about them. But I want people to know, firstly, Brandon, you released a memoir in 2020 that was out on Amazon Books, like a #9 release. This is not, a salacious romance novel. This is not a political, juicy autobiography. You put out a book that charted on the Amazon charts about music, about what you do. You have some of you perform with people like Idina Menzel and Olivia Newton-John and Bernadette Peters. You've been raved about people. Like, this is not just people in their garage that picked up a cello and decided to sing Andrea Bocelli. You guys have each individually created this giant career on your own and worked on your own. And then it's like Captain Planet. When your powers combine, you got...
Yes, Captain Planet.
Thank you. I feel really good right now. Sometimes it's important for us as artists to hear that, we spent our whole lives honing our craft, and I really appreciate you recognizing that, because sometimes I forget myself.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So what is different about this album? That Chasing Dreams was an album in 2020. It had people like Shoshana Bean on it, and you guys were picked as like the best unsigned artists in North America. So what has changed from your sound and your experience from 2020 to a new album out? What have you learned from the last release?
Well, recording albums are really tricky. I never like the way personally that I sound when I hear myself back on a recording. It's not very gratifying to sing into an empty room without any acoustics. It's completely unforgiving. But with that, so the recording process is always tedious and not that much fun. But I would say that what's different about Happy Days versus Chasing Dreams is you learn so much along the way, mostly in live performance, about what kind of emotion to put into your music. And because a recording microphone picks up every single nuance there ever was, you just, as you get older and wiser, you kind of, I don't know, you
learn to roll with the punches.
Yeah, and you know what to do and then what not to do. You learn so much from one recording project to another, and having Effie lending her voice to what we do has created this elegance and this sort of shine and sheer that wasn't in our sound before. And I really, I'm kind of obsessed with it at the moment.
Well, Effie, I'm obsessed with it. And Effie, I'm going to go home and Swiffer my bathroom. I'm going to play this album with my husband while he cooks. And Effie, you say that you're a musical theater baby and that you have projects and ideas lined up. So we're ready for like more full Effie albums, theater pieces, cabaret shows, one-person show. Like, we need all of that.
Yeah, I have, we all have some ideas for things in the can, but I'm writing a Batman musical, and I really want to finish that one. I want that to be like my opus. It's a Batman drag show, so that would be amazing.
A Batman drag show?
Yeah.
I will go to Puerto Vallarta and I will stay on CelloVoci's couch to catch that. So this. Yeah. When Dan Fortune, who has helped book this interview, told me about this, I listened to all of your music, and then I told Dan that we would only do this interview if the three of them showed up at my wedding in New Jersey in May and played my reception and my ceremony for free. So thank you. I don't know if you knew that.
Wow. Yeah, he didn't mention that.
That's the day we'll work on
it. We live in Philly, so we might be able to make it happen.
So thank you for agreeing to that as the terms of this 18-minute interview. And I no, what I'm telling you is, everybody listening right now, no matter what you're doing, no matter what's going on, you should stop what you're doing and you should listen to this beautiful album. And please listen to it from beginning to end. Don't just listen to a single, because they put a lot of effort and time into recording each track and the story that the album tells. So I'm a big proponent of, let's go back to the day where we would listen to something from the beginning to end and really take the journey that you guys painstakingly put us on.
Like Beyonce does.
Like, yeah. Right.
You can't just listen to one of those tracks. You have to listen to the whole thing.
The album takes you on a journey.
We want the whole journey. Well, I want you all to break legs. Congratulations about Carnegie Hall. I'm sure it's going to be amazing. You can follow them all. The links will be below us. So you can follow everyone on social media so that you can stay up to date on the next projects, where they're going to be around the world, and you can get the music. And wherever the music is, you need to stream Happy Days right now. The album is out. Look at this. Is the happiest throuple I've ever seen. I never thought they really work, but this might be it.
if we could tell you the stories about that photo shoot.
Thank you all for making time and spending time with us. And we're so happy and grateful you're doing what you're doing. And thanks for being here.
Thank
you
you
so
so much, brother.
much.
Thank you. It's really good help.
Bye.
Thanks.